In this exercise, you will begin to create a template file that will be used to print the landscape drawing on a B-size sheet of paper from a Layout tab in Paperspace. I'm going to begin by opening up the default template, which is the ACAD template. And every time I open up a new drawing, I am opening up a template. All of these examples here are templates, and you can see some of them have title blocks, some of them have borders. They all have units and scale and text styles and so on and so forth. For instance, here's the tutorial architectural template. Notice that it has a title block and it has a border. It has a layout tab. It has layers already in there. If I type in status at the command line, it shows me the status of the limits and the snap and the grid and the layers and a lot of other information about this particular architectural template. I'll go ahead and close that out and open up another new one. What about one more tutorial template? Here's a manufacturing template. Notice it also has borders and a title block and some layers in here. Probably some text styles and maybe dimension styles and other information as well. I'll go ahead and type status again here, and you can see again the limits have been defined and the snap and the grid and the layers and the color of the layers, so on and so forth. Quite a bit has gone into this template file so that when you open it up you can begin doing your drawing based on the template that you use. Well, there's no landscape template available, so we're going to create our own landscape template. Again, beginning with the ACAD default template. And you might remember this template, if I type in status here again, it does have some properties. For instance, the model space limits are 12 inches by 9, which is an odd size. We don't have any paper that's 12 by 9, but that's what the programmers of AutoCAD did way back when for this template, and that's the way it's stayed. There are some other settings in this ACAD template, but not many. So we're going to create our own. I will begin by entering the units for this drawing. I'll type in units. I want to select engineering units. I want a precision of 0 feet, 0.00 inches. I'll say OK. I'm going to put the limits in for this drawing. I'll type in limits. The lower left corner is 0, 0. The upper right corner, I want to be 130 feet by 200 feet. So I'll type in 130, 200 feet. How did I get those limits? Well, for this example, the limits are just equal to the scale factor times the viewport size. And my viewport size is 6.5 by 10 inches. And my scale factor comes from my scale, which is 1 inch equals 20 feet. There are 240 inches in 20 feet, so my scale factor is 240. 240 times 6.5 gives me 130 feet, and 240 times 10 inches gives me 200 feet. Notice I have to convert back, or I converted back to feet to enter my limits here. I'll go ahead and hit enter to lock in my limits. And now I will set my snap and my grid to be 1 foot for my snap and 10 feet for my grid. I like to uncheck the adaptive grid and display grid beyond the limits in the grid behavior area here. And what that enables me to do, after I say OK and do a zoom all, Z enter, A enter, is to see my grid visually displaying the drawing limits in my drawing area, and I get a sense for how big my limits are. It might be kind of hard to see here, but on a higher resolution screen like the one you're working on, you can see the grid, which follows a portrait type of orientation for these particular drawing limits of 130 feet by 200 feet. Now I'm going to enter some layers. There's currently no layers here, just the 0 layer, so I'll click on the layer property manager. I'll click on the button here to create a new layer called border. The border layer is going to be white continuous with a line weight of 0.90 millimeters. I'll scroll down and select 0.90. My next layer is going to be the text layer, which is red. Pick that red color. It's continuous and it has a line weight of 0.50 millimeters. Finally, my viewports layer I will call Vports, short for viewports. It has a yellow color. It's a continuous line type and it has a line weight of 0.3 millimeters. I'll go ahead and close my layer property manager, and I can now set my line type scale. That is my LTS. Line type scale is equal to the scale factor divided by 2. So my scale factor in this case is 240, divided by 2 is 120. I'll type in LTS for line type scale. I'll hit enter, and then I'll enter the line type scale of 120. Notice the default is a line type scale of 1. I'll hit enter there, and then I'll enter some new text styles. Remember my text styles, I can type in style at the command line. That will bring up the text style dialog box. Currently there's only the standard style. I'm going to hit new and enter a new text style name called notes that uses a Romans.shx font with a height of 0.25. I'll apply that. I'll make another new one called title, and it also uses the Romans.shx font name with a height of 0.5. I'll say apply, I'll say set current, and I'll close my text style dialog box. And now I'll go to the status command one more time to check the status of my drawing. Notice my model space limits are 130 feet by 200 feet. See that right here. Notice my grid is 1 foot. My snap is 1 foot. My grid is 10 feet. Notice that I have some layers in there, and you can see the other status points for my drawing. Now at this point I'm going to save this drawing, and I'm going to save the first one as landscape template with my initials. Landscape template. I'm going to save it as a .dwg file. That's an AutoCAD drawing file. And then I'm going to save it again. Only this time I'm going to save it as a template file by changing the type of files down here at this bottom selection. I'm going to change it from a DWG, an AutoCAD drawing file, to a DWT, which is an AutoCAD template file. Upon doing that, the dialog box immediately browses to the templates location, which is deep down into the AutoCAD program, this templates folder, and that's where all the templates are found, including those tutorial templates that we just looked at, and the ACAD template that we've been using in the past. So this is where I'm going to save my landscape template. And I'll go ahead and type in landscape template. I'll hit save. The template options dialog box pops up. I can put a description of this template. I can say this is for landscape drawings with a scale factor of 240. I'll say OK. And now, look what happens if I were to open a new drawing. It goes to my Select Template dialog box, and if I scroll down, I should be able to find a template called Landscape Template. That's a template file, a .dwt. When I open it, watch what happens. At the title bar at the top, you can see it immediately changes to a DWG file called drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And I'm ready to begin using this template. If I type in status, all of the settings are there, right? You see the model space of 130 feet by 200 feet. So my template file is ready to be used for my landscape, and next I'm going to create a landscape layout page in a layout tab of Paperspace.